Yes, here we are, Lanky Beat Live. We are very lucky to have some lovely people with us tonight, and I've gone, I know three of the names fully, and I know half of one of the names, so I have to find out which other half of the name it is. So let's just take a little break and do this.
Hospital Radio.
Ian.
Just the tonic.
Parr.
Live from the inner sanctums of Wrightington Hospital, playing the best of yesterday and today. Playing your music 24 hours a day. Across the wards of Wrightington and Wigan hospitals. Playing the best of yesterday and today. Your very own hospital radio. Playing your music 24 hours a day. This is Wrightington Hospital Radio.
Welcome, boys.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
To Lanky Beat Live. We've got with us tonight, and delighted for the company of Mike Denyer. Thank you very much for coming to join us, Mike. Bill Holmes. We've got Bill Holmes there, lead singer of this wonderful band. And we have Ian Parr, who is also the keyboard player. So we are in illustrious company tonight. And he walked through the door and he just said straight away, Bill handed me the brand new CD, which I'm kind of lining up to play at the moment. They've done it live. You've done it live. Bill, tell me all about this CD.
We tend to record ourselves at most gigs that we play, but we thought this one, we'd go one step further.
Yeah.
It was a live gig at the platform at Morecambe.
Right.
There was a professional sound engineer available with the equipment, so we had to talk with him, and he allowed us to record the set live, and he mixed it afterwards, and it's come out really reasonably well. We're quite happy with it.
Yeah, you're very happy with it.
Yeah.
That sound engineer wasn't a guy called Mick Armistead,
was, yeah, from Montana Wildhack.
Yes. Let me just tell you something about the band. The Reelin and Rockin are from Lancaster. Yes, am I right?
Well, I'm from Lancaster. These lads are more Preston area.
Preston area. I thought so. Yeah. But it's great because the platform's a marvellous venue, isn't it?
Very good.
It's
indeed.
put in a lot of rock and roll on the map, as well as other things, of course. It's obviously a thriving venue. I've not been myself. I'd love to kind of catch a concert there someday soon, and I know you're on pretty soon as well.
We're playing on the 15th of December, supporting the Mersey Beats in the Mersey Beats Christmas show.
Mersey Beats. Fantastic. That's great, Bill.
Mind you, it's sold out.
And it's
It's
sold
out, yeah.
It's
Ages
sold
ago,
out.
yeah.
So even if you wanted tickets, you couldn't.
Not for that particular one. We're doing another one on the 22nd of December at the Crofters Hotel in Garstang, along with Golly Golding and his band, Rockola.
Right.
And there are still tickets available for that one.
Right. So you're a very, very busy band by the sound of it. It's great to hear it.
We're busy in December. We tend to look at possibly one a month, maybe two. Do a fair bit for charity, but December, we're out 3 times in December, which is more than the norm for us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a nice kind of medium, that. You're treating it as a hobby, but the practical side is you're doing work for charities, raising money for charities, and I hope there's a few bob in some of the gigs that you're doing to pay for your expenses.
There is.
Oh,
That's all it does, in fairness, pay for the expenses.
None
of us do it for money. We do it because we like it, don't we? Let's
Never
be
did
honest.
anything more than that for me.
No.
Even in the 60s when we were doing 5 and 6 gigs a week, it was only paying for equipment and instruments. We got all our good gig, good. I was just telling the listeners before, I bought a Ludwig drum kit, 1967, and it was the price of a brand new Mini on the road.
I can believe that.
And that's eye-watering. If you put a brand new Mini on the road, how much? 25,000 quid on the road?
Now. Yes.
Now that equivalent drum kit, you might find a drum kit at 25,000 quid. You can't. I mean, but prices and things were very different those days. There was an American kind of, with them being American drum, there were American tariffs to pay and things like that jacked the price up to something that was ridiculous, really. But I paid them off eventually, and on the tick.
As we all did.
On higher purchase. We're talking a foreign language to any of the listeners below 60, aren't we?
Of course, yeah.
You know, and I don't want to lose that kind of audience, because I want to bring that kind of audience in and to enjoy what we've enjoyed in the 60s, still enjoying it now, but and give other younger people some chance to finding out how it really was, and that we're still teenagers at heart, aren't we?
Always.
Don't you think so,
We certainly
Ian?
are. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's only in her 30s, but she loves listening to us. I think, and your daughter loves
Yeah,
it,
my
doesn't
family
she?
come and listen. They like the tapping. They like rock and roll. They like the music. They've grown up with it, really.
Yeah.
It's all, as my wife says to me, is we play all the stuff that she knows and everybody knows, and they can all sing along to and tap their feet to.
Yeah.
So it's all just great music. Great music.
Yeah. I read the other day somewhere, it said that CDs in themselves don't have that great sound that we had on vinyls, and that's because the sounds we were making in the 60s were brilliant, and the CDs now I'll not say it.
No,
I'll not say it. It's because music was better, let's
Yeah.
face
Yes,
it.
yes,
The
yes.
music was
Yeah, it
better.
was better.
And the engineers who put those vinyls together and with this crude equipment into recording studios and they only had 4 tracks in some cases, and we're dumping 4 tracks onto 1 track and then another 3 tracks onto and such like, and they were doing that, and that's how Sgt. Pepper's album was put together. So I'm told.
Yeah.
So they must be marvellous engineers, and to produce that kind of music, well, it was astonishing. But we'll stay with you, Ian. I know you're a keyboard player, and you complement this band really well.
Thank you.
And you all work together so well. And that is one of the reasons I've asked you to come on to the Lanky Beat Live programme, because you gel on stage, you gel as musicians, you're really together guys. Some bands are not together. You can tell who they are. You just look at them, you know that, he may as well be stood on car park playing, or he may as well have set his kit up on car park for what he seems to be doing for the rest of the band on stage. But there you go. That's not the kind of band we're talking about with Reelin and Rockin. So what would you say about the band, Ian, that makes it all kind of definitely worthwhile doing?
Oh, well, I mean, like we said before, we only do it for fun.
Yeah.
We're not doing it as a living. And I think from the 6 of us, I think we'd have just such a great time together.
Yeah.
Even when we're in, just practicing or having a quick try to have a new song, we will just knock it in, and then all of a sudden it either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
If it does, great. If it doesn't, we have a laugh about it and move on to another one.
So you don't take the music absolutely seriously, but you really have a professional approach towards the production of that particular song, don't you?
Yeah.
You're very meticulous, I can tell that.
We tend to rehearse every week. Whether we're playing once a month, we always rehearse once a week.
Yeah. And that's it's a great hobby. And let's bring. Well, I'm going to bring in Mike Denyer now and see what he has to say, because you've got a specialised job in the band, haven't you, Mike?
Yes, like yourself.
You're one of us, aren't you,
I'm
Mike?
one of the drummers.
Yeah. We're
What do
drummers.
they call us?
Ignore these two now. Me and you, we can talk drums.
I could talk drums for a long time. And drummers.
Well, come on, take me back where you first started playing.
Oh dear. I first started playing when my dad, for some reason, bought me a kit of drums when I was 11 at Christmas.
11 years old and a
11
kit of
years
drums.
old, yeah. I kind of swear that he really wanted them because he was into all sorts of big bands.
In other words, your dad was a closet drummer who aspired to be a drummer.
And he got nowhere near the drums. He just didn't get anywhere near them. So I just, loved doing them, loved playing with them. And throughout my teenage life, I played drums with my school band, and we were into all sorts of things. I come from London, so it was fortunate that we had so many, people to see virtually every night.
Yeah.
You could see Spencer Davis or Animals or Georgie Fame, which I loved.
Yeah. Where did you go to see these guys? I'm very interested.
I went to a lot of places. I went to,
Yeah. Did you ever go to Eel Pie Island?
No, I went to Crawdaddy, which is sort of on that way, which
Yeah.
is Richmond. Which is
Where in Richmond? Sorry.
That's in Richmond. Well, it's I think it's near the park. I can't remember. It's a long time since I've been there. And I saw the Yardbirds there, the early Yardbirds,
Yeah.
and then we used to go to places like the Scene Club in just off Windmill Street, which is,
Right.
and you used to get the bands that came from the Flamingo,
Yeah.
and that they would go to the Scene Club, and it was because I was a bit younger. I was about 15 or 16,
Yeah.
so we'd be hanging around, getting in, and there's these characters bringing Hammond organs down a basement stairs. If you can imagine.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then of course, and up pops Georgie Fame and the Blue Flames, and
Yeah.
kind of knock you out, Yeah.
That's right. I mean, I've got family who live in Twickenham and Richmond area, and I've learned about the Richmond Triangle, which is Kingston, Richmond, and of course Twickenham. It's not exactly a triangle as such, but yeah, it's 3 points on the map where a lot of stuff took place, wasn't it? And the Eel Pie Island is then kind of is part of that, and particularly I've read up all about the history of that. And there's an Eel Pie Island club, the Eel Pie Club, should I say? And I went to the Eel Pie Club one night, and when I was in London, and went to the Cabbage Patch. That's in Twickenham. And it's a grand pub, and it's up the stairs, and we had a great night up there, and then I met the guys and gals who run it and such like. And there's a magical scene taking place, just like Lanky Cats, except that they run it as a business rather than a charity, but nonetheless the music is still there doing the business. So I am fascinated with the London scene just as much I am with the Merseybeat scene. And
Well, I
things
mean,
like that.
places like the Marquee, obviously,
Yeah.
the 100 Club,
Yeah.
and various other clubs like that, and it was a great scene, and
Yeah.
it was the time of the '60s when all the bands were emerging,
Yeah,
great bands.
yeah, absolutely great.
I mean, I was sort of thinking back about when my first sort of contacts with rock and roll and that, and there was a chap who used to work off and on with my dad, and his stage name was Reddy Lewis, and
Right.
and they formed this band, Reddy Lewis and the Red Caps, about 1958-59, and his lead guitarist was a young guy from Epsom called Jimmy Page, and
He's a name dropper, isn't he?
I know, but it was
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, lad.
and it was but then there are various sites on the web, and they talk about all these bands, how they evolved, became Neil Christian and Crusaders. And out of that is Mick Green, the great guitarist, and all sorts of people. And it was just sort of flowed from there. Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, all there.
Yeah, I mean, the pioneering came from Merseyside with Merseybeat, and whatever happened, it came out of Liverpool. But right behind it came this London scene,
Probably,
based on the Richmond Triangle, which was, of course, the Rolling Stones headline and all that. The Crawdaddy, places like that in Richmond.
Yeah.
And they're seeped in rock and roll history now. But they also came through with a different kind of approach to rock and roll, didn't they? It was more blues, rhythm and blues based, wasn't it? Yeah. It was more aggressive. Yeah. And I think of bands like The Who, they came in, talking about my generation. He didn't so much sing it, he shouted it, didn't he? Talking about my generation. They were kind of really hard bands, in your face, weren't they? And then Mick came along, and Keith and all that gang and they came along, and they give you this bluesy stuff with a packed rhythm behind it. Yeah. And it was an instant success. But there were no pop songs as such in their repertoire, and yet they made things like people like Chuck Berry very famous, didn't they? Because they covered a lot of his stuff. And I mean, what about your band? Did you did you have a name for some of the bands?
For my bands, yeah, I think Well, our first ones were called the Junko Partners, which was an old, it was a Muddy Waters song
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a
Yeah,
New Orleans song somewhere. And
yeah,
and we, as I said, we used to play school events, youth clubs and that.
Yeah.
I was telling Bill, we were the school band,
yeah,
but a few, well, a mile or so from us, there was another comprehensive school, and their school band was a band called the Equals. And
Yeah.
they did quite well.
yeah,
A lot better than we did.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a couple of our chaps become professionals, and,
Yeah.
and one worked on the continent for a long time.
yeah.
So out of that came quite a lot of good music.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we
It's fascinating talking to you about that particular kind of scene, because I know the northern scene very well, but know very little about the Eel Pie Club and the Eel Pie.
Yeah, but the southern scene, as I said, actually, I was talking about starting 58, 59.
Yeah,
That's so it's slightly before.
it is, isn't it?
Beatles and that. They were just, that was the emergence of.
So you were one of the pioneers.
Well, I wasn't. I
There's
was a young lad.
I know, but even so, the first phase bands came in and around about after the Lonnie Donegan era, about
That's right.
57, 58.
Yeah.
Then the first bands started to kind of emerge about that time.
That's right.
Hence, Skiffle
Skiffle, yeah.
was the basis of.
Yeah, that's right.
Next stage was rock and roll, and the people who were playing that were the first phase bands. I came in second phase. I was about 1963 before I came on the scene, but this business was already established. Because the Beatles had made it, the Stones were coming through like an express train, and it was just like say, it's just history now that we're talking about, but. Lovely to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Well, before we go any further, we've got some music to play now. And I said to Bill when he came in, I said, any chance of playing one of your tracks off your CDs? Well, of course, I got a big fat yes off him. So therefore, we'll play one. And he said, any particular one? And he said, Summertime Blues. So let's have a listen to this. Now then, have we got a technical hitch in the studio, do you think? Shall we, I beg now to wonder whether or not we have, because that's 3 letdowns in one night. So, and we don't usually get that, but we will overcome. I'll just put another track on that Bill mentioned before, and see if we can get that on. So I'm still doing very badly here, and anyway, let's have a look. So let's see if we can call this up and see if we can do better this time round. So let's have a look at it. Yes. I think we're getting somewhere now. Yes. And it's doing all sorts of things that it's not supposed to do. And no, we're having definite technical problems here. I'll just live with it with me for a minute and see what we can come up with. Yeah. So now then, I'm after track 14. We have track 14 coming up, and we're not getting anywhere with it. So, can we blame Mick Armistead for this?
It played coming down in my car,
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah. It was doing fine then, and all of a sudden it just went, didn't it? And so anyway, we can manage. We know how to get by and get over things like this. So what I'll do meanwhile is we'll go back to Mike, Ian, and Bill and have another little chat with them. So, how did it start, Ian? How did things get together for you? Were you a grand piano player in an orchestra? based in Berlin or something like that.
Many, many years ago, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
No. I sort of rocked up to a lady's house on my way home from junior school when I was 7.
Yeah,
Told her I wanted to learn the piano.
right.
And she sent me home to get my mum because I had to pay. I didn't really understand that bit.
No.
But
Still doesn't
I had to-
understand it.
well, hey.
Yeah,
So I learned my piano and played in school band a bit like Mike, although ours was more of a jazz club,
yeah.
and we were very lucky then to have a trombonist who played with the Far Coast Jazzmen,
Right.
who taught at our school, a very talented guy. And the Far Coast Jazzmen were on Huey Green's Opportunity Knocks. There's a name to juggle with, isn't it? My word. And we enjoyed the jazz band, and then I was the camp pianist at Pontins at Blackpool for 2 years.
Really?
When I was 17 and 18.
Fantastic. Amazing. These young people I've got around me, all this talent that comes through and all these things that they've done. It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. And go on, tell me a bit more of what happened then. I mean, you're only 17 now. What did you do
No,
with
I
the rest
was
of
23 now.
it? Oh, you're 23 now.
Plus a bit. Plus more than that. Now and then I just went into the entertainment industry then completely, but more on the management side.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much recently in my lifetime anyway, so 15 years ago, Bill, myself and one other person just got together in my front room for a few sessions just to knock the odd tune out.
Well, we're all members of the local Rotary Club.
We were in the local Rotary Club.
We decided we'd just have a bit of a jam more than anything. It came out in conversation that we'd all done a little bit in various levels in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it really started from there, didn't
It
it?
did.
3 went to 4. Mike came up and joined the club from London, so we ended up with a drummer as well.
I take it you live around here, Mike, now?
Yeah, oh, yes, I lived here
you're not
about 14
commuting
years.
from London or anything like that?
No.
So we searched for a drummer and then searched for a bass player and found one of those, and then we were complete.
Gone on from there, really.
And
Just,
we've just stayed together from then.
How long have you been together as a unit now?
probably, as a finished unit, probably about 9 years.
That long?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, we were talking about this coming up. It is about 9 years.
It'll be 9 years since Dave joined us, and then Neil's just more recent than that, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you can name drop the other lads. You can say hello to them. I hope they're listening in tonight.
Well, Dave Dawson's the bass player.
Yeah.
Neil Worthington, lead guitarist, and John Talbot, rhythm guitarist.
Brilliant guitarist. So, well, I mean, they couldn't come tonight, obviously, but someday, down the line, maybe get those 3 in and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
Just like chatting with you.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. I think I've got some music for us now.
Okay.
I've tried another CD here that Bill gave me some time ago, and I have played a few tracks in my time on it. And this is called Bill Holmes and Friends, Rocking Back the Years. And I'm going to try and see what happens when I put this on. Yeah. We don't seem to be getting anything out of anything. I think we're kind of got a kind of a major technical fault on things. So I don't know why. I don't know. It just it's mystifying. Everything seems to be working, but nothing's working. So there we go. So what we're going to have to do then is we can't seem to get hold of the music, so we can keep on chatting. And just try and bear with me for a little while, and we can come up with things like this.
Hospital Radio, the best company.
Across the wards of Wrightington and Wigan hospitals, playing the best of yesterday, this is Wrightington Hospital Radio.
Yeah, so there we go. That's it. We'll make merry on something that we can't control. So we've got now. We are music-less. We could do with your keyboards, Ian.
Do you know what? I normally bring them in the car as well, but I haven't got them today.
I mean, where would we fit a keyboard in here? Just tell everybody how tiny, sweet and tiny it is.
Yeah, it's quite intimate, isn't it?
Yes. You'd struggle to get another one in, put it that way. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we're on our limit. It's fun. That's what we're having.
Yeah.
We're having fun. That's the main.
Cosy, I think you'd call it.
Cosy. So tell me, how did you find out about Lanky Cats?
During the making of this CD that we couldn't play, Bill Holmes and friends, one of my friends, a lad called Golly Golding,
Yeah.
as you know Golly.
Yeah,
Golly's
he's actually been on the show.
He has, yeah. Very accomplished guitarist.
Absolutely.
And I've known Golly since we were 14. We sort of grew up together around the Morecambe area. We were just getting together and wanted to get out a little bit more, and Golly said, what about Lanky Cats? I talked to another lad that I know, Alan Brown, who's with Dirty Hands, the drummer.
Yeah.
Alan had played there, and he said, yeah, well, worth a call. I think I then made contact with you, Bill, and you were kind enough to give us a slot.
Yeah.
And really, we've never looked back.
We love
Lanky Cats, in fairness. It's one of our favourite gigs.
Very nice of you to say that.
Seriously.
What is it about Lanky Cats that you enjoy so much?
I think it's the fact that it's just a plug and play. You provide us with a hell of a lot of good equipment, which is already set up for us. There's a sound engineer there, but the crowd is absolutely amazing. They're really good, friendly people, and that's all we want. That's just what we want.
That is just potluck.
Yeah.
Whether you bring in a good crowd or a bad crowd, whatever.
Yeah.
If there's such a thing as a bad crowd, I don't think there is really. But you know, we're just so lucky that our audience love what we are doing and what you're providing for them, and mutually that feeds back to you on stage and lifts you guys, and you come off buzzing and can't wait to get back. I hope that's
that is the case. Definitely, that is the case. No, we love Lanky Cats.
Yeah. It's very pleasing for me, because it was a twinkle in my eye about 6 years ago, and I'd thought about it for about a year, and I went down to Mersey Cats and I went down to Mersey Rats with an eye on getting some ideas from them, because they were very successful, there's no question about it. Particularly Mersey Cats, who've been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
And more, I think 26, 27 years maybe. So something they're doing down there was good. Now they had a committee, and the committee ran everything. Then I went over to Mersey Rats, and I spoke to JMO, and he just seemed to be a one-man band and didn't seem to have much of a committee round him. But I think since he's got one or two people who are definitely helping him out on things. And he had a slightly different approach to it. So I took the best of both worlds and set my idea down, and we just give it a try. Let's have a look at what we can do to give it a try. So we did it, and one of the biggest supporters at the time of opening up was Golly Goulding.
Yeah.
With his band, with Paul Hayes.
That's right. Yeah.
And the Collection.
Yeah.
And they were through the door before we'd opened the door. It was unbelievable how they came in, and I'm forever going to be grateful to them, because they'd heard about it, us starting this thing off. And I got into the Unity Club one night, and there was Paul Hayes, stood at the bar with his cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I was astonished. And he said, we'll come to play. I said, it's only a trial night. We don't know if it's going to work or not, you know. But it was obvious it was going to work, because people like this were attracted to it.
Yeah.
Even before it even began, it had no reputation. It had nothing going for it. In fact, we'd got half the drum kit. I brought the other half from my drum kit and put together. We cobbled together some amps and a sound system, and away we went on that trial night 6 years ago. And like I say, the rest is history.
I think what we like about it as well, the other bands that play there, you get to know these guys, and before very long you're friends. You're talking to them on social media, and they're giving you a ring, and it's a great scene. It really is. There's some really nice lads amongst the other bands. Yeah.
That again is something that I never even thought of when I had this idea of putting something together like this. How social interaction now, musical social interaction take place, where all the bands are getting on with each other, and now, like you say,
there's not many days go by where I don't speak to Keith Hubbard on Facebook, or Ed Harris, or people of that nature. You know, they're always
absolutely.
Cracking good.
It's been a great catalyst, and to bring you all together, and it's just amazing. Like I pinch myself at times, thinking, how did all this happen? And well, in fact, I know it happened. You made it happen.
Well,
you made it happen. I just put the facility there, and now you've taken it and you've used it and you've.
Well, I think it speaks for itself, Bill, when you see how many bands are trying to get spots on there now, and you'll know that better than anybody because you're having to juggle them.
I've one slot in 2018 left, and I'm not filling it with a band yet.
Right.
I'm not. Wow. I just kind of. I'm waiting till close to the time before I put a band in.
Somebody new may come along.
I know. But we allow bands to come along 4 times a year.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons we're so well off. With our situation the way it is, and what we have got obviously is a waiting list of. I counted up the other day. I've got a what I call a cancellation list, not a waiting list, but it's one of the other. It's more or less the same. But it's I've got 15 bands on the waiting list.
Waiting to get on.
Waiting to
slot.
get in.
Yeah, well, that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
And I despair, I think to myself sometimes, shall we put extra Lanky Cats nights on to accommodate, that's another 4 bands, so that'd be 4 minus 15 minus 4.
Yeah.
And then I've got another 4 bands on another extra night. But anyway, we decided not to go down that route and make it exclusive and make it special.
It's certainly that.
I think if we went to 1 night a week, we'd lose something. Would you agree with that?
You may just lose some of the audience because these people, they may not be available every week.
Yeah.
But they put 2 nights in the month. They look forward to coming to Lanky Cats. You again. It sounds as if I'm never off Facebook since I retired. I probably aren't, but talk to people. There's like Delia and people of that nature that have been Lanky Cats for a long time, and you become friends with these people. But they're buzzing with it. They really love Lanky Cats, don't they? You can see that.
I know bands do, and everybody loves doing it. I love doing what I do, and I've got a great team around me.
Yeah.
The sound engineer that we mentioned before. We've got 2 sound engineers really. We've got Dave Cavey.
Yeah.
God bless him, and he's lovely lad as well. Very talented musician.
Tremendous bass player as well.
Absolutely. And we've got Diane Herring, and Diane. Well, you're sat in her domain,
right?
Where you are now. This is what she put together at about the same time as we were opening Lanky Cats.
Right.
And about the time that I met her, she'd seen what I've been doing on Facebook, contacted me and said, I think your website's fantastic. I think this is great. That's great. And she said, why don't you come on the radio and talk about Lanky Beat website, which is www.lankybeat.com. Why don't you come on and do a little bit of chat on that? And I said, I'll be delighted to. And that's when we first met. And we were in a building about, I reckon it's about 400 yards from here. And it's a massive site, is Wrightington Hospital. And it was a stone building, and we were in there, and it got condemned as well. And the studio was beautifully set up, no problems at all, but they had to move out. But they'd nowhere to go. So they were virtually redundant, and Wrightington Hospital Radio had virtually gone, disappeared. But because Diane wouldn't lie down and wouldn't give up, and a few people around her rallied, they actually got the money together to build this studio. I mean, a lot of it's cobbled from the old studio and stuff like that. But the room itself was a gift from Hospital Radio Wrightington management. And so they gave them that. But it still needed equipment, and it still needed a lot of money to put it together. And Diane was the lead on doing all that. She was so that's where you sat here, and if she's listening, we're so forever grateful to you, Diane.
Yeah, good last Diane.
Absolutely,
well done.
for putting this together for us to be able to come along and showcase all of the music that Lancashire and has to offer. It's great. It's absolutely great. I'm going to go back to you now, Mike, and ask you a little bit more about yourself. Whereabouts was it that you uprooted from the London area? Whereabouts in London?
The Angel, Islington.
Right.
Islington's my area.
Right. Yeah.
I used to, go shopping up a street and go into cafes and that.
Yeah.
And there was this guy called Chris Farlow who's hanging around.
Oh, he's here again.
Oh dear.
So I,
Yeah.
Hey, leave it
so
out.
I used to chat to Chris, and he used to tell me about how he started. I can remember.
Fantastic.
And it turned out he lived a few streets away from me when I lived, in the less salubrious part of Islington.
Right.
So anyway,
That's right.
but-
So,
but-
how come the move north?
oh, the wife.
He saw sense.
No, we were looking to move out of London, young.
Any
child.
particular reason?
Well, a bit of space, a bit of land, and a relative, relaxed area. But my wife, her brother lives up here, and my mum, by coincidence, was a Scouser.
Right.
So there's a whole
Yes.
swathe of Liverpudlians that
Yeah.
I am in contact with and go to weddings. So it's been quite good in that way,
Yeah.
So, but I still miss some parts of
Do you?
London. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that about
Yeah, I think.
when you uproot from your roots, as it were. How is it? How is it? It's like emigrating, isn't it? How is it?
Yeah.
I know you can always nip down the motorway and
It's
spend.
a long way. Really.
It is a long way.
Yeah.
I spent
M6.
10 hours one day getting to London. Oh, but anyway, yeah. So, and are you often travelling backwards and forwards or not?
I used to, but not so much now. It's just, as we said, travelling, down the M1, M6, M1 is not much fun really.
No.
And I've got family there, so we travel down for again weddings and funerals and things. But it's but London's changed quite a lot, of course. I've been here about 14 years. In that time,
Yeah.
a lot of the areas have changed. But there's still a good music scene there, which is
Very much.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's never ever lost its musical
We were talking
gifts,
about
as it were.
my pal put a page on of the Melody Maker, but it was 1967, 50 years ago, and it showed the Marquee and the
Yeah.
Cream were playing, and Fleetwood Mac, and
Yeah.
John Mayall, everybody was playing there at that time, and it brought back a lot of memories of the different places,
Yeah.
And then there were the pub scene, which was Dr. Feelgood and Ace and Dire Straits,
And it was what it was interesting for me is it was all a kind of at an underground type level. Not underground. It sounded a bit seedy, but the Cavern was kind of underground. It wasn't up and in your face kind of music. It certainly wasn't mainstream music, was it?
No.
And yet this scene, Newcastle, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, London particularly, it was what was going on that made young people happen into it. And it's always been an intriguing question for me, is why did it happen, this popular music, the way it did? How did it emerge in the first place? And when there was no precedence, was there, until kind of Elvis came along or Jerry Lee Lewis came along. And latterly after that, the Beatles and Cliff Richard.
Do you not think it was a form of rebellion from the younger kids at that time? They were a bit repressed after the war and things.
You
though,
tell
weren't
me,
they,
I wouldn't know about the war because I was born in 1946, but I don't have no memory of anything down that line. Why would I get into why would I get into 50s to 55, and then I'm becoming a teenager, and why would I get to that point, and why would I rebel? I wouldn't know anything, and yet I did. And that's so intriguing for me. Why did we do what we did? And we knew it was, and it was a bit risky as well because it was, because it wasn't exactly listening to the Halley Orchestra, was
I think
it?
the things that I first got to I used to spend a lot of the time in the pictures when I was a little lad or
We
growing
did.
up. And then you got to, you say 1956, 57, and Rock Around the Clock came, and then Rock.
And that was at the pictures.
Yeah, Don't Knock the Rock, and then you saw Chuck Berry and never wanted to go back again. I loved
That,
it.
I think, did it. It confirmed everything. It was a show-stopping moment,
Yeah.
wasn't it, for me and for you? And I think that is maybe you've hit the nail on the head.
I think
then,
that's
Bill,
it.
with that.
And you just look for every opportunity to go and watch those sort of pictures and the American stars that were on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where,
And what made us think we could do that?
well, if they could do it, why couldn't we, if we really wanted to?
Exactly. I know. And it was that kind of spirit, wasn't it, that
I
that
think
we had.
skiffle helped as well.
Yeah.
Because you know it literally was a washboard and a tea chest.
It was a DIY
And,
music,
you know,
wasn't it?
So it was
Do it
DIY
yourself.
music, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know and people, Lonnie Donegan and such, you know, Nancy Whiskey and all that. They came from that kind of skiffle. But again, that's very much American influence. It's all come
it
over.
all came from America.
From Liverpool, it was American ships.
They took,
yeah.
it was all America, and Liverpool was influenced just like everywhere else, and but somehow something happened that Liverpool took the music, and then away it went, and London would, like I say, was only a stride behind
Yeah.
Liverpool. There's no question about it.
Well, with Lonnie Donegan, Rock Island Line. I mean, old blues numbers, you know.
One of my favourites of all time. That.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, Lonnie
Yeah,
did
but-
me no favours when he did the other songs like My Old Man's
No.
Dustman. And he did not, but when he did Rock Island Line and things like that, we knew there was something there. It was Negro blues, if I can say that word
I think.
these days, because it was black man's music taken. By, it was a railroad engineer, wasn't it? Rock Island was a railway line, and he was smuggling pig iron, and he claimed, whilst in the song, that he was transporting animals, and you couldn't transport pig iron, could you?
They paid a toll on certain commodities, didn't
Yeah,
they?
and they had to pay a toll, pay a tax
Yeah.
to cross state lines, didn't they? And that was what it was all about, that particular song. And Lonnie got hold of it and made a monster of a hit out of it. I know. And we sat round our Danzettes and our radiograms, didn't we?
Yeah.
Intrigued.
Yeah.
And where did it start for you, Bill? When it was it 1950, 56?
1956, 57. As a young kid, I mean, I was born in 47, so go to the pictures at 10, 11, start listening to that music, and
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Went every opportunity, got together with a few lads at school and started. Well,
Were you lead vocalist then?
yeah, always sing
Always.
anywhere at any time. Me.
Yeah. And, are you an instrumentalist of any
I can
description?
play. I'm a 4-chord guitarist. I can play a bit of rhythm, but that's about it, Bill. Really.
Is there more than 4 chords?
Well,
I never knew.
no. Well, I'd say that's it. I can
You learn something every day.
That's a
don't you?
typical guitarist.
just about back myself, and
Typical
that's
guitarist.
it basically. But no, we've as I think as most schools did. We started a school band when we were 14. I think the first 2 songs I sang, I was talking to these lads today that it would be early 62 because it was The Picture of You by Joe Brown and Sheila by Tommy Rowe. Those were the first 2 that we ever did.
Fantastic songs.
And then the lads learned a bit of instrumental stuff from the Shadows, and
Yeah.
we played at school dances, youth
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah.
Went along few local dances and things in Lancaster.
So you've always been involved some way, shape or form with the band.
Up until late teens,
Yeah.
then marriage came along,
Yes.
and the bands tended to stop.
They did.
And always had an interest in music. Whenever possible, get out and see the lads and can keep involved, but not doing much myself after the sort of late teens, really,
Yeah.
until we got together with these lads.
That's a
A long time.
It's a long time
Yeah.
not doing.
Yeah.
But
always kept an involvement. I mean, I can sit there and I've got a pair of earphones at the side of my bed. My missus doesn't like it, but I mean, I listen to music every night before I go to sleep. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He's enthusiastic in evil. Yeah. Fantastic.
I love it.
I know. And Ian, what about? Have you got any similar stories like like what Bill has.
Well, I'm just thinking how young you're making me feel now. Because by the time you guys were doing all your music, I'd just about been born. So, yeah, I'm 10 years behind you guys, so...
Oh, he's pretending to be younger than us, is he?
That's what it
my
is,
heroes
yeah.
are slightly different.
Pretending
So,
to be.
Yeah.
So it'd have got more modern and more mainstream by the time I was there. So the Beatles were my start, really.
Yes, I think it was.
Well, I was very much Chuck Berry, Little Richard, people like Buddy Holly loved it, and then the Stones came along in '63, and they started playing some of Chuck's songs. So from then on, it was the Stones right through the '60s for me. I mean, with the mod scene and everything else.
You're either a Beatles man or a Stones man. I was a Beatles man.
Then the Who came along and people like that.
I'm with you because my big brother loved the Stones, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I had to like the Beatles because he liked the Stones because he couldn't sing a note. He was tone deaf and so I was the Beatles. I really loved it because you could always hear all the words that they sang. It was always pretty tuneful.
Yeah. I put some thought towards trying to understand how they came to be what they became. And I put it down to basically two good voices. If them two lads, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, if they couldn't sing in the sense that they didn't have those distinctive voices, and they just so happened that the two distinctive voices blended like a dream, didn't they?
Super harmony, definitely. Yeah.
Super harmony. And they based themselves eventually on the Everly Brothers song, because that is the ultimate two-voice harmony songsters.
Yeah.
Because they absolutely pioneered it. And then Lennon and McCartney came along and did something exactly the same for me. And that was it. They could sing. And I looked at all the other bands, and they came out to the 60s. Jerry and the Pacemakers. Well, Jerry could sing, but that was it. And Gary, good on him, Jerry. Good on you. Swinging Blue Jeans, yeah. Ray Ennis could sing. And it was all the bands that could sing, who had the good voices, that went and made it.
Yeah.
Dave Clark 5 wasn't Dave Clark singing, it was Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, yeah.
And it was always that voice. And the Searchers in particular, they had the sweetest voices and harmony that you've ever heard in your life. I think Searchers, God bless them.
I think the original Searchers, in my opinion, were the best of the bunch, which was Toby Jackson, Mike Pender and Chris Curtis. That three-piece harmony with those three lads was absolutely magic.
Yeah. And were that hit the spot, didn't it?
Yeah.
The Mersey Beats. Now you're playing with the Mersey Beats shortly, aren't you?
Well, I've loved the Mersey Beats for a lot of years. I'm looking forward to playing with them.
Absolutely.
Tony Crane and
Billy Kingsley.
And Billy Kingsley are they're the two voices of the band, aren't they?
Yeah.
And again, doing that two-voice harmony, as they made a living out of it.
Yeah, they did. Did a lot of hits. The Mersey Beats.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they did.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember my repertoire in the band in my band in the 60s. Virtually every Mersey Beat song we actually did. Songs like Milkman. I mean, what? Milkman.
Great song, Milkman. Yeah.
I know. What? And yet we used to do things like that. And of course, Sorrow was the big one, wasn't it? That was the massive one. Yeah. So, and we're coming to a time where we're winding down, but not quite finished yet. Have you got any kind of ideas of your own that you want? You've been kind of thinking about this for about a week, and I'm sure there are certain things you might have wanted to come onto the programme, and I must definitely tell Bill this story. Is anything at all? It's Tales of the Road.
There's nothing that really. I haven't got anything that really comes to mind, Bill. No. We've just, all I can say, we've just had a great life out of playing and enjoying music.
Oh, it's great to hear.
Brilliant. That's all I can say, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, your band, the enthusiasm of the band coming across loud and clear to me. But it always has done from when I've seen you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can I just say something about these two guys? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, one is I think Bill has a very distinctive voice that fits a lot of the stuff we do really well. I mean, I would go as far as to say I don't think I don't know any other band around that has that quality of voice. Okay, it's a personal opinion, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I would agree.
And this guy here, keyboard, has a kind of perfect pitch. You know, he can play anything.
Well, he can come and fix my roof anytime.
But it's really good in that, you know, a guitarist drops a chord and he's boom.
Yeah.
He's there all the time, so he keeps this level up, you know?
Right.
And that's great.
Yeah, I
It's a
know.
good joke though.
That's a nice compliment. You know, have you got what kind of response have you got to that then?
Yes.
I haven't really. Lost for words, one of the very few times in my life. But I don't know, it's just something I've always been able to do that.
Yeah.
I've played by ear most of my life. I can read music, do read music now and again, but don't very often. And the lads will say sometimes, they'll say, oh, well, we fancy trying this song. And before the guitarist has picked up his guitar, I'm halfway through it.
Right.
So it's just one of those things I've always been able to do. I don't know, it's definitely a talent. It's not a skill. It's not something I've learned. It's just a little bit like falling off a bike for me. Once I've heard a tune, that's it.
Yeah,
it's in there and I can play it back.
Yeah.
The best thing about playing in the band is I always used to, which was a bit of a standing joke when we first started, that as long as it was in C or G, I was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after 12 years of them making me play in all sorts of different keys, none of them hold any fright to me anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you name it, son, I'll play it.
Right,
Yeah.
fantastic. There you go.
great, though, isn't it?
That sounds
Love
more
it.
like a challenge and a threat. That
It does, Bill. Yeah,
doesn't it?
we
You
may-
don't
It's
agree
not.
with that.
I think
It's
we may
not.
test him out at some time.
Yeah. We're gonna put him through it.
You hum it, son, I'll play it.
Now then, Ian, I can't allow you to leave this studio tonight without mentioning the fact that he nearly sold me a three-piece suite when I was in his shop.
Only nearly. Oh, that's not good.
It was excellent.
That's not
He really did. He said he lost for words. He said something before. He wasn't lost for word in that bloody furniture shop.
Never is.
Never. No. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want your three-piece suite, where do you have to go?
You've got to come to Doorway to Value in Chorley,
Yep.
Whitley Woods.
There you go.
And then
Doorway
come
to
and see
Value.
me particularly.
Come and see Ian Parr.
That's
Ask
the
for
one.
Ian, and he's your man for anything on the furniture.
All
line.
the furniture.
All the furniture stuff. What about you, Mike? What have you been doing with your life and living? What have you been doing with your living? Have you been making a living, or are you been scratching a living?
I stopped playing the drums when I started studying, and I became an architect.
Right.
So I run my own practice and
Oh, right.
did some design consultancy work for most of my.
What an
my life.
interesting occupation that
It
was.
is,
I
actually,
had an ambition that I wanted to be an architect, but I didn't go to the right school. I
I'm sure I did actually.
Yours was a privilege,
I only
wasn't
went to secondary school, and I didn't pass me 11 plus. And I think you needed that to get into architecture.
I didn't get my 11 plus.
No?
No. It wasn't difficult to get into, must be. But when you're in there, it's a bit daunting, mainly because they're all kind of public school boys.
Yeah,
And you go,
yeah, and you're not.
and I'm not.
Yeah.
No, and it's, there was but I did fine,
Yeah.
As I said, I ran my own practice for a number of years, and so and then I developed into. We did a lot of multimedia stuff as well. Eventually,
Right.
designing interactive programs,
Right.
which was a design thing as well as So
Yeah.
we were always designing different things.
And give yourself a plug then. What's your consultancy or your
Well, no, I'm
architectural?
retired now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I retired.
Oh.
I mean, it used to be called Denyer Associates, but I retired. so,
Yeah. Did you leave a legacy of the company to someone else, or
No,
did
no.
it all kind of finish when you finished?
I decided to move into, more into the music business related world,
Yeah.
which I'd always been interested in. And
Yeah.
one of my co-directors was also in the music business. So,
Yeah.
So I did a lot of work in that area for the latter part of my working life, really.
Right.
Still did a bit of architecture, but not that much.
Oh, very, very, very interesting. Yes. And Bill, what have you been doing when you've not been vocalising and
Well,
warbling?
I mean, I'm a bit like yourself, Bill, secondary modern lad, left school at 15,
Yeah.
not an O-level to my name, really. But
Yeah. Me
started
neither.
out and did an apprenticeship, which stopped me going to London with a band at one stage, but
Yeah.
my dad wouldn't wear it.
What were you an apprentice to?
I was an apprentice plasterer at that time.
Fantastic.
But as soon as I was 21, I was out of that.
Yeah.
Went into agriculture, agricultural cooperatives actually, and I ended up being managing director of a poultry farming egg packing company just before I retired.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Again, a plug for the name of the company.
The company was J. Rainford and Sons Limited. It's now part of Staveley's Eggs in Coppell.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we've all had good lives then. haven't
Oh
we?
yeah, very much so.
And still, there's plenty more life in the old dog yet. Yeah.
Let's hope so. Yes, too
Yeah.
true.
Ah, fantastic. Well, it's been a real pleasure for me to listen to you three guys on stage with your other three guys, and it's also been an even greater pleasure to have you in the company of Lanky Beat Live tonight. And thank you very, very much for coming in and enthralling us with all your chat. I hope you out there, the listener, you in your hospital bed, and if you're recovering and things like that, we hope we've helped you along the way in the last couple of hours and made your life a kind of a little bit more pleasant than it otherwise was. And if you're suffering a bit, and we hope we've taken your mind off things a little bit as well. So
Yeah, have a good night, folks.
yeah,
All of you. Yeah.
and
Yes.
we're thinking of you, and ruffle that pillow up and tuck up them, pull up them sheets, and you can settle down, because there's lots more on Hospital Radio Wrightington for you to tune into if you fancy it. And we're here 24/7, and we have got for you just the play out song. Like I say, thank you very much, Mike Denyer. Thank you very
for
much,
inviting us.
Bill Holmes.
Pleasure, Bill.
And thank you very much, Ian Parr.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic. Lovely stuff. And we're going to come back in a couple of weeks' time. It's Lanky Cats next Thursday. And we've got guests on board. It's Reelin and Rockin
Yeah.
at Lanky Cats. So, like I say, if you fancy it, come down and to the Unity Club, and we'll take £1 off you at the door, and then we'll give you 4 bands and a smile on your face. How about that? That's guaranteed.